Hello and welcome to Attacking Third, a CBS Sports Soccer podcast. I'm Sandra Herrera, NWSL lead writer for CBS Sports, joined today by my colleague and co-host, Lisa Roman, NWSL analyst and broadcaster. We are so excited for this special interview episode. We're joined today by Nadia Nadim, Danish international, formerly with PSG. She won a French league title in 2021 and 2020-21 season, and she is now with Racing Louisville FC, the newest expansion club in NWSL. Welcome to the show, Nadia.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to chat about some things with you, some really good things that you're working on. But first, congratulations are in order. Congratulations to Louisville on winning the Women's Cup with Racing Louisville. It's the first ever trophy for the club. How special was it for you to be a part of that?
Very special. I think with this division of the club, they want us to be a winning team, and bringing home the first trophy was big, also because it was like some very good teams. You had PSG, Bayern Munich, and then Chicago. So winning against Bayern, I think the team did amazing, and then showed the right mentality from the start. And there's so much foundation that you can build on from there. So very, very happy that the first one is home, and hopefully that's not going to be the last one.
Hopefully. Well, let's chat a little bit about the tournament that took place a little bit as well. All of the days leading up to the Women's Cup, we had sat down with some players, but particularly on the European side. So we talked to like Ramona Bachmann on PSG, former teammate of yours, and a few of the Bayern players, and Sarah Zadrazil. And a lot of things that we had chatted with them about, we're talking a lot about the concept of, European teams versus American teams, the concepts of, different styles and different footballing cultures. And you're someone with a background, with a foot in all of these different football areas. So after coming off of this winning this cup, what is your perspective, having played in the European side of the game, having played in NWSL for a couple of different clubs? What would be your take on the stylistic differences or the footballing culture differences between these two continents?
It's very obvious for me. I think the European is very it's especially when the defenders have the balls, like slow game. There's not a lot of teams with high pressure. You have the space to build up. You want to put your formations in, and it's a bit more positioning, while the US or the football here is very direct and it's very intensity, it's very physical. I would say in Europe is more technical and tactical. Here is very physical and dynamic. So I feel the players here, they can run and press for 90 minutes, and in Europe you try to maintain the ball, because at a certain point they're going to die pressing, and then you're going to have bring your players in the areas where they're going to be dangerous. So for me, let's watch the finals against Bayern and us. That was the perfect example. Bayern was trying to build up, and we were sitting low and then pressing high, and then at the end, I think there's two different styles. For me, the best would be something in between, because one is very extreme and the other can also be very extreme. Which one is better, I don't know, but those are the style, and that day our style was better, the direct one, because we won.
Racing Louisville came out on top. Your style won, you're right, and hopefully not the last for the club and for the city. But not long after winning the Women's Cup with Louisville, Racing then partnered with the city of Louisville, with the Cup, with Gloria Football, in support of the women and girls of Afghanistan. Nadia, how did that partnership come about between all those different organizations?
Well, while the tournament was being played, everyone was kind of aware what was happening in Afghanistan. I think me being here also created kind of buzz around that topic. And then I love the fact I was asked, what can we do? I was like, anything that you possible would help, anything where creating awareness or donating and just talking about this, it helps. So they're like, yeah, we really want to donate. So a bunch of people, organization got together, and then we started this fundraising. Right now, I don't know, I think we're almost 80 something, almost 90, to reach the $100,000, which I think is amazing. And the money is going to go to women, UN women. And then also I know that Louisville's going to receive some refugees from Afghanistan. So they're also going to try to help them. For me, you know, it's watching these kind of situations very, very hard, because you're one person and you're like, oh, this is how can I ever do anything that's actually have an impact? But then you see all the individuals going together, and then you create this group that actually can have an impact. And for me, that's beautiful. And using football or soccer as that tool that's going to unite everything, I thought was very beautiful and touching. And I'm pretty sure that anyone, all the women who's going to receive the help, they will embrace it and be grateful for it.
Nadia, how can our listeners, how can fans help in aid in this project?
I mean, as I said, like usually a great question. The way you can do it, one way is like by donating, as you can see the link in my bio on social media, Instagram. But otherwise, if you're like, oh, I'm too short, I'm not gonna possible. Usually for me, it's just being nice and open-minded about it. That's a big start. I think as a human beings, we're all gonna go through difficult times. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, and what, like, it's just, that's a natural thing. I always feel the most helpful thing that you can get is people understanding, like having the sympathy or empathy, and having an open mind and being kind. That's like the biggest help you can do to start with. And if you have extra time or extra resources, of course, donating will also help.
A quick
Go ahead.
A quick recap for our listeners to just sort of get the full gist of everything that we're talking about here. NWSL franchise Racing Louisville has partnered with the mayor of Louisville, Greg Fisher, Gloria Football, and the Women's Cup in support of the women in Afghanistan. It's activists and players like Racing's Nadia Nadim who are working so hard to inspire the world to do better by women. In partnership together, they have started a fundraising effort for humanitarian relief, supporting women and girls in Afghanistan. Nadia and the Women's Cup launched a GoFundMe page as a central place for donations, and the goal is to raise $100,000 for Afghan women and girls. So like Nadia said, please check out her social media links, but you can also grab the link in this episode description for more information on where to donate.
Nadia, your story is so remarkable, and you've been very vocal about it as an Afghan refugee, escaping the Taliban, and fled the country. You settled in Denmark. There's an incredible article in the Players Tribune detailing your family's escape and everything that went through that. But now, as you sit here today and you look back on this, how much has your story shaped who you are as an athlete today?
Definitely played a huge role in the person and the player I am today. I think, you know, if you go through a lot of like difficulties in life, when you're having difficulties or issues on the football side, they don't really compare, you know. So I always put things in perspective. If I'm injured, I'm like, well, you know what, it could be so much worse, because I've been through that. So that way I always feel it has helped me a lot, and it has made me, I have like this, I don't know, unbreakable almost, I would say, mindset on off the field, just because I think it has to take a lot more to break me down. And this is a part of everything I've been through. I don't wish it for anyone, but if you go through hard time, at least at the end, somehow you should be able to use it for something positive. And I think that's what I have done, and it's been my mindset.
You know, Nadia, one of the things that I really appreciated out of that Players Tribune article that you penned, for people who don't know, Players Tribune is a place where players directly pen their thoughts and put out their pieces. So in you detailing your family's escape after, you know, the devastating execution of your father from the Taliban, you talked a lot about how the journey took you guys from Afghanistan to Pakistan to Italy to eventually to Denmark. Why is it so important for you to utilize this platform that you have as a soccer player and combining your life story to help sort of educate people on things going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two reasons. You know, one of them, I think I do it because I want to tell people that, like, it sounds again so cliche when I say it, but it's the fact that, like, you know, nothing is impossible, and you can always overcome the situations you are in. And it can be any situation, because pain is relative. You know, the way you experience pain is different than mine, but your pain doesn't mean it's less than mine, you know. So, but I'll just want to tell you that like, you're gonna get through it, because we as a human, we're capable of way more than we understand. And secondly, the education part is like this: everyone's gonna go through hard times, but the ones who are in power, or you feel like you're on top of your game, you should always not forget your human side. I think what makes us humans is the empathy, and then, you know, reaching out to the ones who need the help, you know. So like, the side of being kind and giving people a chance and being open-hearted and open-minded is very important. That's the two reasons, you know. Because if you are that way and you give someone a chance, something beautiful might come out of it, like me. Does that make sense?
I love that. No, it's so true. And again, I want to encourage anyone who's out there who can take a look at the article. Go ahead and take a look at it. It's free and open for all to take a look. But within that, I think another really important part is when you penned it, when you came out with it, it came right last summer, right as a lot of things were happening in the United States among the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, yes. But things were kicking off in terms of, you know, a lot of protests across the country in light of the murder of George Floyd by police. And you touched a little bit on like this world that we live in, and while there is a human connection and that's the thread that brings us together, there's also sometimes like disassociation that takes place for people, and why it's so important to kind of keep having these conversations and these reminders, even though quite frankly they could be quite painful to go through.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely. I think that's an important point. I think you have to realize the struggles before you can actually do something about it. You have to realize the problems, and you have to point them out, and this is a problem. Otherwise you will always kind of like, oh, it's out of my mind, you know, out of my world thing. So definitely. And the conversation is not easy. It never is, you know. If you want to change something, that conversation is never easy, because there's always going to be people who are like, yeah, that's not my problem, we're not interested in it. So how do you make people, like, engage people in this? And then in that way, I think that's also the reason I always talk about it, because I feel like when you hear it in the media, or you see it on TV, you don't really feel that's a part of your life. You don't really care because it's so far away. But suddenly, if you see someone that you know, like me, or you have a connection to, then it just gets so close to you. And then you're like, oh, wow, actually, then you start seeing the images and understanding the images. Otherwise, it's just one of them, you know, 8 commercials where you see it, but you don't really see it, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, that's how the world is nowadays. If it doesn't involve you, if you don't have the connection, you don't really care.
That's very, very true. You know, you're somebody who, yes, you're a professional athlete, but you have also become an activist, putting yourself in this role to sort of advocate, right, for other Afghan women and girls who are refugees. But, you know, in terms of all of those are 2 very big specific titles, a pro athlete and activist, and kind of combining those things together. Why is that important to sort of combine those 2 elements? And what else is there that you would perhaps maybe like fans to know about you besides, you know, the pro athlete part, the activism part? Because at the end of the day, we really are just all people.
True facts. Yeah, I think, you know, I think the reason I do it is because I feel I have a platform. I can reach out to people and maybe be a part of, like, slightly to change things for the better. And in terms of like being an activist, yes, definitely. But I wouldn't say an only activist for the, you know, Afghan girls. I just, everything that I feel is unfair and it's close to me and I see it and I don't understand, I speak up about. Sometimes it might be annoying for other people, but I think that's like a obligation that you have in general, especially if you want to change things. And I think there's a lot of things that I want to change in the world. And besides that, and football, I'm also becoming a doctor soon, hopefully end of this season. I'm studying very, very hard for my exams right now. So yes, Gonna be a doctor. Call me if you guys need anything. Let me fix you.
Congratulations, Dr.
Yeah,
Nadia. I love that. That
imagine,
has a really nice ring to it.
I know. I think I'm gonna have on my shirt Dr. then Nadim, you know, like Neymar has Neymar Jr. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
I love it. I would love to see it. Let's make it happen, Louisville.
Yes. True.
I love that. I love that. You've been on quite a journey as an Afghan Danish player, a Danish international. Soccer has taken you all over the world. You just won a title with PSG, and now you're in Kentucky, back in the NWSL. What brought you back to this league and to the NWSL? Why did you decide to return to this league?
Two reasons. One of them was that the club has like visions. They're really investing in the team, girls team, women's soccer, and they want it to be like a factor in the coming future. And secondly, I love challenges. Everywhere I go, I want it to be a challenge. I don't go places where it comes to me easy, because then I don't enjoy it the same way, and then I don't feel it was me also having an impact on it. Because if I go somewhere where they used to win it all the time, then I'm like, I didn't really do anything, because they was also doing it before me, without me. So I wanted to come somewhere when it's new, it's a challenge, and I want to be a part of building a team who might in the future win the league, you know. That was the reason. And also I think this league in general is very, very, very hard to play in, because all the games are so tough. Any team can beat any team. And that's something that I enjoy, again, the challenge, that you like, and you're on top of your game. And before the Euros next year, I want to be somewhere where I'm like in physically best shape. And I think this league is going to provide me that.
You know, I remember, Nadia, on your return back to NWSL and some of the early media that you were doing with Louisville, and some of the questions you were being asked about, like your impressions of Louisville and Kentucky. Yeah. And you mentioned like that being in Louisville, Kentucky, you kind of feel like, oh, like this is America. And one of your things where you mentioned Kentucky Fried Chicken. Have you been able to take in more of the city since you've been more acclimated with the club? Have you tried Kentucky Fried Chicken? Like, let us know. We want to know.
Honestly, unfortunately not, because I've been so freaking busy with my school stuff. I've literally had no life the last 2-3 months. Like, I've been training, studying, sleeping. So I haven't really had the time to see anything. I was out one time with the team where we had like a dinner, team dinner, but that was in Kentucky Fried Chicken. No. So I was like waiting for it to go and try it, because I think this is gonna be. I've had Kentucky Fried Chicken once in my life and I didn't like it. I was like, maybe this place is gonna be different. So I'm still waiting for that. I'll let you know as soon as I know.
I think this is where we have to shout out your teammates right now. We have to put out a public plea, some Kentucky Fried Chicken. If not the franchise, then maybe some very local Kentucky-based chicken. We'll see what happens. Let's yeah, let's wrap it up with maybe a quick look ahead at what's on the horizon for Louisville. The team is gonna face off against Orlando Pride. The final stretch of the season is here. It's really all about that final push. The last time these two teams played, you weren't available at the moment, but they did announce your signing, and it was a really narrow game. It was a 1-1 draw, and Orlando kind of stole some points from Louisville with a stoppage time goal. What has sort of the vibe been, the mentality been in preparations this week for the game against Orlando Pride?
You know, I think, as I say, it's a new team and we're building on every day and every game, every training. For me, I'm excited to play Orlando. I've obviously played them with Portland Thorns, and I think they have a great team, like with like world-class players who know the game so well, aka Marta, the GOAT. I'm excited to play them. I think, you know, in this league, every team can beat anyone, and if we bring it, I'm sure we're gonna beat them. But if we're not there, it's gonna be a tough game. But also in general, super excited for every game. And then after that, there's a national team break where I'm going to be heading back to Denmark and be playing my 100 games. Like, so exciting 2 weeks.
It's going to be quick. It's going to come before you know it. We're going to be excited to cover it and watch it. And hopefully, eventually, you will get some time to yourself where you won't be so busy between becoming a doctor, being a pro athlete. Maybe you'll be able to sit down and get some chicken, and maybe get to read a book that you want to read versus a book that you have to read.
I'm looking forward to that, honestly. I think it's gonna be probably be after my exams, because right now I think I'm gonna be, but it's okay, I don't mind it. I think the stuff that you really want and you're gonna enjoy are the ones that you have to work hardest for. And I don't mind, like, you know, putting in the work and struggling, because I know what my goal is and I know that there's a light behind all that. So it's okay, I'll get there.
Inspiring words from Nadia Nadim. Let's close it out on that one. Nadia, thank you so much for your time with us and joining us on Attacking Third. We hope to have you back on. Hopefully the GoFundMe hits the 100,000 and maybe we can get you back on and we could talk a little bit more about it. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you. Have a good day.